Welcome to the Spilt Honey Podcast, hosted by Eliza Bliss.
So I had a hysterectomy
Okay.
and I didn't know any of this stuff. All I knew was that I was full of cysts and fibroids. They had to come
Yes.
out. I could keep one ovary, but then it ended up that I couldn't have any ovaries, no tubes. Everything was gone.
Everything had to go.
Everything had to go. And I didn't really mourn that at all. Like I have two beautiful children.
Yeah.
We knew that we couldn't have any more. So I didn't mourn it. I didn't even feel, and this could be ignorant of me to say, but like I didn't feel less of a woman. I don't feel
why
less.
would you?
Well, so I guess some people feel like, oh, that's my femininity. That's part of what makes me a woman and all that kind of stuff. And so, but I didn't feel any of those things.
Oh, that wouldn't even be a thought in my
I was
mind.
like, this is hindering me from
Yes.
being who I am. Get it out of me.
Especially if you have cysts, that's painful.
Yeah,
That's
so painful. And I mean, for a few years, we band-aided everything by an IUD,
Right. Yeah.
which was awful and also a blessing.
Yeah. IUDs are odd.
Like I didn't love the way that the brain fog
Mm-hmm.
and the like, I don't know, words. I couldn't even form words. I just felt
Yeah.
like so like out of line.
Yeah.
And the weight gain. But yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about the cortisol. I didn't know anything about like what would happen after. Like it was
like
just
after
like
your hysterectomy.
yeah, it was
well,
just-
because they don't tell you any of that.
no.
They don't. And now, did you have to go on some form of like hormone replacer because you didn't have the
No.
system? Okay.
So this is like where I feel like the system is broken.
Okay.
So it was so I had a hysterectomy at 38.
Okay.
And so it was like you're really young.
Yes.
Go through all these steps, investigating, finding it out, advocating insanely for myself.
Because you have to.
You
have to.
And like,
Isn't that amazing? Is like you can go to a doctor and say, my body's not right now.
Yeah.
But then they're like, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I live with my body every single day.
Yeah.
I'm saying that this isn't right.
It's like suffering. Literally
Unbelievable.
suffering all of the time. Insane. And then fast forward, we get the IUD. Then it's a Band-Aid. Not good.
Yeah.
And the migraines. I got like chronic migraines all of the time.
Yeah.
Body aches. No energy. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like my life is falling apart.
Yeah.
And I don't know who I am. I told my husband, I'm like, maybe it wasn't so bad before.
Yeah.
And he's just like, honestly, we'll just keep with it.
Yeah.
You know? So then I get it out. Fast forward, then I have the hysterectomy. And it was during COVID. So it was either like, take the date or I don't know when you'll get one again.
Yeah, fair.
So I was like, okay, had the hysterectomy. And then that was it. That was it. I had a follow-up appointment about 2 weeks later and was like, how do you feel? And I'm like, well, I feel like I had surgery, but I don't know.
How am I
don't
supposed to be feeling right
feel
now?
any different. Yeah. Like I'm still sore as fuck.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it's been 2 weeks. I have no idea.
And even 2 weeks after surgery, that's like, okay, fine. 2 weeks to check up that nothing's abnormal. You're not in crucial pain, all of these things.
Yeah.
But then I feel like there would have to be another checkup appointment 2 months or 3 months after to be like, okay,
even like a year. So then I was like, so am I going to go on like hormone supplements or something? And he's like, no, you're really young. Like best for you to do is to eat as healthy as you possibly can. Find natural estrogen in foods.
Okay.
That's when I hit the ground running with like healthy eating.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because he's like, we don't want you to become dependent or when you would really need it and be dependent on it, you've already had it. Your body won't.
You don't want it to be regulated in your system
Yeah.
and not do any different. Right. Okay. That
So
makes sense.
then I haven't really felt like in my own body truly until probably this year. And
Wow.
I'm 41.
So 3 years later, you're now feeling
I'm starting to
centered.
feel like myself again. As close to myself as I could possibly be to pre like perimenopausal Shannon.
Right. Wow.
Which I think I was 32.
But you are like incredibly active though on all of your health stuff. It's not like you just eat incredibly healthy like we talked about the supplements, but also you work out consistently. Yeah. It's like you are fully in a health realm.
Yeah, completely. And I feel like I can't leave it. So it's just like, and it's also like the skincare, and it's like what I'm putting on my body is going in my body.
100%. I feel like once you go down the health rabbit hole, it's almost becomes you get paranoid about everything.
Yeah, but I'm like obsessed with it.
Obsessed with it.
I'm so obsessed.
Obsessed with
Not
it.
like unhealthily obsessed, I hope.
No, but like, at the same point, you start diving down. Of course, what you put on your body is going to make a difference because your skin's your largest organ. So of course it's going to seep in, and then that's going to alter everything. Even the foods that are in the grocery store, we're not even realizing the ingredients in the food and what that's doing to our body. How unnatural that is for us and how our body processes that.
I know. When it says like all natural apple juice, I'm like, why are there more than 4 things on the ingredient list?
Also, all natural apple juice. It's apple
it's
juice.
Just apple juice.
What is unnatural apple juice?
All natural organic apple juice. And I'm like, why?
Oh my gosh. Bless.
It's like when I'm that person at the grocery store where I flip everything over, I read it.
You know what? My dad always used to say, only shop the outside aisles of the grocery store. And it makes sense. It's like the inside aisle is what grabs you to get all the junk in your body, but the outside aisle is all that you need.
Totally. I do buy my kids Doritos.
I fucking love Doritos.
Yeah.
Though.
They do get all, and I find it funny that you said that your mom didn't have sugar in the house, because I was that kid at school.
Yes.
Who's like, other kids got to have like
Dunkaroos.
Yeah. And granola cool bars and fruit that came in a cup, but they bought it that way.
Yeah. I was always so jealous. I'm like, why? Do you want to trade a Nutri-Grain bar for those Dunkaroos? They're like, fuck no.
I didn't even get Nutri-Grain bars until I was in high school.
Which honestly, if you look at Nutri-Grain bars, more sugar than Dunkaroos.
They're not good for you.
They're terrible for you.
I know, but you throw a couple oats on the top and call it healthy.
It's a fruit kind of mash on the center. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
There's probably like, I don't know, drywall dust holding it all together. It's Kellogg's, right? But it's like, it's like, Mom, I really want like Jell-O. I want the Jell-O pudding cup, you know?
No way.
And so she's like, oh, well, I can make you Jell-O. I can make you pudding.
This was so my mom.
And it's like, I didn't get pudding. I got fucking custard. Like, I had like a British mother, and it was like custard and homemade granola.
You're like,
this sucks.
This is not that. My mom always used to make homemade Jell-O, but then put chopped fruit in it.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay, but now I just have chunky Jell-O.
I know. And don't call it salad.
Like, it's not the same. And I went through a moment with that with Isla the other day. You know those like Yop yogurt things? So she's like, Mom, can I have those when we went grocery shopping? And I go, oh, absolutely not. And she's like, but every kid at my table has them. And I go, honey, that sounds really great for every other kid at your table, but I'm not willing to put that in your body. So I'm sorry, but is there something else I can get you? Because no, I don't care if every other kid has it at your table, because I'm trying to like grow you to be a healthy being. And that is so far from yogurt. So I'm like, I'll get you full fat Greek yogurt and I'll chop some fruit on it. Well, that's not the same. Like,
throw some oat milk in it and shake it and it'll become a Yop.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. But then it's not going to come in the Yop fucking cup.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I was doing the same. Like Ethan, my oldest, is working full time and he's in construction. Mm-hmm. And he was like going to, so I did this thing. Okay. So letting them do their own thing is hard.
I could only imagine. Isla's 5 and I'm like, oh.
I know, it's hard. So he started out and I was making his lunch. And the whole point of me making his lunch was he had to stand there with me and do it. It's like, hey, what else do you want? Mm-hmm. We would go grocery shopping together and I'd be like, what do you want for your lunch?
Yeah, so then that way you're actually eating it.
Yes. What do you want? Like, you're becoming an adult. Mm-hmm. This is it.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Pick all these things out. Got him new containers, like his own containers, his own part in the pantry for your stuff, protein bars and all your things.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is good. But then it was like, oh, Mom, I have to go pick up Elise. You're good to make my lunch? Just this one time. And I mean,
it's never just the one time.
He's so beautiful and I love him so much. And of course, I'm just like, yes, baby, I will.
Of course.
Yes.
You're my baby.
Tony, my husband, is just like, mm-hmm. And
Here we go.
It's fine. It's just this one time. And he's just like, okay.
Just this one time.
Same place, same time tomorrow? Okay.
17 times later, you're like, okay, it's a habit now.
I know. So that's what it was becoming. Then I started becoming worried about his lunch and he wasn't.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Being a mom.
Yeah, being a mom. But I don't know how we got on that. But like Cameron wears a uniform to school. He's in grade 10.
Yeah.
Ethan, obviously, he's dirty every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, none of you are thinking about, do you have any clean work or uniform
Not
clothes?
Even a thought in their mind.
No.
It's just always there.
It's like, I need that and I need that to wash it. Because I don't want you going to school tomorrow or to work tomorrow wearing anything dirty.
Yeah.
But it's like, why is it not in their forefront?
Because we've never made it in their forefront.
No, you're right.
It's habit for us.
It is.
So we've never made it in their forefront.
No. And this is where the other thing that creatine has helped and like all the supplements that I'm now being able to like hone in on is helping me manage without feeling like I'm absolutely going to explode.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody's everything. I used to be able to do it no problem. And I had no anxiety. People would, like women or my mom or whoever would be like, I just need everybody to be quiet right now. I can't think right now.
Overstimulated.
Super overstimulated. I had no idea what that meant until it happened. And it was like, there was music playing and not loud.
No, but it's still
there was
playing.
A conversation happening over there. I'm trying to read a recipe. Somebody's yelling for me. The dog is barking.
Isn't it funny that the dog is always the top of the cake?
It's
like as soon as the dog barks, you're like, everyone!
I know. And I was just like, I can't do this. And then, everybody's kind of like, huh? And I will say that like Tony does, so Tony's my husband. He holds things that I don't have to hold.
Right. It's different jobs.
Different jobs. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
I don't ever touch the garbage. I don't ever pick up the dog's poop.
Yeah.
I don't ever have to worry about the switchover of the lawnmower and the snowblower and I don't do any of that. Yeah. I don't have to hold that information. I don't have to think about
But also he doesn't have to hold any of your information.
Or the kids.
Yeah. Just
different.
I
hold the kids.
Just different. Of course we do, though.
Yeah, I hold that, and I just feel like, and I also hold his.
Mm-hmm.
So he manages all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know where his hat is? He doesn't. I do.
Why
do I wear his hat? No, I don't wear his hat, but I know exactly where he left it.
But why do we have that just stored in our brain all the time? I don't know.
It's like I'm not even home when I know where your shit is.
It's so true. Now that I'm single and live by myself, my house is so like minimal.
Yeah.
For a good reason, because when my ex-partner lived with me, it was chaos all the time.
Yeah.
Like I would get home from work, chaos everywhere. And it's like, how do you live like this? Mm-hmm. My brain is like, if the house isn't organized and clean, my brain is just fried.
100%.
Fried. So it's one of those things of like, everything has its place. If you just put it back in its place, then you'd know where it was.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't have to store that information.
Yes.
So now it's like I have a basket with 5 towels, and that basket holds those 5 towels. I have no more than 5 towels.
Yeah.
That's just how, now that he's gone, it's like, I know. Okay. Everything's manageable.
I know. That's the thing, is like the stuff.
We carry so much stuff.
I know. And this sounds wasteful, but if my basket of odd socks exceeds, I throw them all the fuck out.
Oh, you don't have to say that to me.
I throw them all out and I'm like, I'm buying more.
Yeah, I'm over it. Where does the other one go?
I don't know.
Every time. Where does
Although,
it go?
I did see on this Instagram story that this woman took the front of her dryer off.
Was it all in the
And they
front
were
of the dryer?
all in the front of the dryer.
So
And she's
random.
like, there they are.
There they are. Yeah, I resorted to just going to Costco and buying the Puma socks that are all the same color. So
Yeah.
then I never have to match.
No.
It's just all the same thing.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Isla's socks are all little animals
Yeah.
and colors and patterns. And I'm like, oh,
I know.
Isla, perfect matching game for you. Match your socks. This is great. And then she goes, but I like the mix match. I think it looks cool. And I'm like, fuck, I don't
No.
even care. I'm like, I don't even care.
Oh my God.
If you want the mix matched, go for it, babe. I'm not doing it.
I have no idea why I can't let that one go.
It's like part of like the, I don't know, for me it would be like part of the OCD because like I'm very much so.
Yeah, I can't let
way.
the mismatched socks go, and I can't do mismatched pajamas.
That's fair, but you know it's a set.
It's a set,
why
and it
would
makes
you-
me feel like, I don't know. It's kind of like when my mom always said, if you start the day, put your face on.
Yeah, 100%.
Like at least mascara.
Yeah.
Something. Wash your face and
Put your face on.
yeah, put your face on.
It's
Totally.
for me, it's making my bed every morning too.
Oh yeah, that's big.
If my bed's not made, it's like Isla the other day walked into my room and I didn't make it in the time that I normally would. And she walks in and she's like, why is your bed not made? What happened? And I'm like, oh, is that bad that a 5-year-old recognizes that my bed's never unmade?
Yeah.
I
don't think it's bad. I think it's like she understands structure.
Not in her room. Like a fucking bomb went off in
Yeah.
there. I'm so thankful she
yeah.
has a door. I just close it.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at it. It's
That's
the only room that stresses me out.
That's the thing.
I
can't let mismatched socks go, but I can totally close that door.
Just close the door.
I don't even
Brings peace.
Yeah. I don't understand how. So Ethan's room is tidier these days because his girlfriend is over.
Isn't that funny how that
But
works?
he does it because if he doesn't, she will. She tidies his room, makes his bed, and he's like, no.
So he probably feels uncomfortable about it.
He's just like, I don't
do
want
it.
her doing that. And then he's just like, she shouldn't have to clean up my filth. And I'm like,
But also, I mean,
no doubt.
You raised a respectful boy. Because
True.
there could have been the other way around where it's like, yeah, do it. That's great. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, no. He's just like, no, I don't want her doing that, you know? So anyway, I was just like, good.
Yeah.
But I'm like, your
you
room
do
does
it.
look really nice.
It's one of those things that once you have a clean room and you feel how good it feels to go in your room at the end of the day every day,
I know.
you don't want it any other way.
No.
Isla loves when she goes to her dad's, I'll just deep clean her room and I'll like remake her bed and put all of her 1900 little tiny pieces that go with other tiny little piece things away and organize it. And every weekend she comes home and she's just like, oh, this is so nice in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the importance of a clean room, kid.
I know. Yeah, I know.
I think that's just my brain. It's like less is more for me.
Totally.
And I don't understand it.
I'm very much get rid of it.
Get rid of it. There's
My
something
husband,
about it.
I think my husband still has his KFC uniform and name tag from like 1994.
It's almost frameable at this point.
It's like disintegrating.
Does he have a man cave? Can you shadow box frame it for the garage?
That's not allowed. He's already got a motorcycle in the basement that he wants to have like a whole stand and light system for, but
you just shadow box
that's
it
not
for the
gonna
basement
happen.
As a Christmas present.
God.
There you go. Now you can see it.
I
and
feel
it'll
like
stop disintegrating.
if we were to contain it, it would just like release gases and explode.
Oh my God,
this isn't
that's
safe to be in the house.
That's so my mom. The one time my mom went away and my dad and I are like, perfect. We can get rid of shit. This is great. So we threw out a bunch of magazines.
I know.
So she gets back. She fucking recognizes, where are all my magazines? We're like, oh, fuck. Seriously? Well, there were recipes in those that I loved. In your stack of 3,700 magazines, you remember recipes in there? Their brains just tick differently.
Yeah, I know.
They just tick differently.
It totally is true.
My dad and I got in a lot of shit that time.
Yeah.
We're two peas in a pod. It's not good. It's not good. There's something for me, it's like everything holds energy. Mm-hmm. And I really recognize that as stepping into my mediumship.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, that has energy I don't want. And now my house is empty. Like, it's just my art hanging around.
Do you feel energy when you're like at a store?
Oh, crazy amount.
Like
So
if you were to go to HomeSense or something.
I don't. I honestly, I have one outing a week, which is the grocery store.
Yeah.
And for me, even that is enough. So I don't really go out often.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if I must,
Yeah.
I will.
Oh.
So it's kind of a weird thing. It's sounds like it's super not healthy. But at the same
sounds
point,
fine to me.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And my parents, get out of the house. You need to get out of the house. I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm good. It's just different.
Yeah. And you're not like in the house, not leaving the house. You have like a huge property and you're on it all over the place.
All the time. I live next door to my parents.
Yeah.
I'm there all the time.
Yeah.
Which, and I host reads here. So it's almost like people are just coming to me.
Yeah.
So then I don't have to be out in the masses, which is nice. But it's quite overwhelming to be in the masses.
I feel like when I'm out and about now, I get so angry.
Yeah.
And I really can't stand that.
Do you find like you're a pretty empathetic soul?
Yeah.
Like sensitive to energy as well?
Yeah.
It would make sense. Like the collective right now is angry.
And I just get so angry. And I'm like, I can't get over the ignorance of people and the
so disconnected.
Selfishness. Yeah, like they're selfish and like no regard to anyone around them. Like situations aren't even happening to me. It's like I see and I'm like, you saw that older lady was walking towards you and you looked at her and went anyway, so she had to stop. That's a no-no to me.
Yeah, yeah.
You
just
should have stopped and let that
Yeah.
older lady pass by you.
Yeah.
Not have her stop for you. I don't know
No.
why I get so angry. It
No.
didn't even happen to me.
No, it's because it's a society is so disconnected.
Oh, I know. And
They're
I'm like,
so
just
disconnected now
look
and
up.
not grounded. But
Yeah.
they're always on their phones. They're not paying attention. They're in their own mind, doing
Yeah.
their own thing. There's no mutual respect for anyone anymore. There's no grounded people.
Yeah.
And then you meet somebody who is grounded. You meet somebody who's aware. You meet somebody that's open to that. And then you're just like, whoa, who are you?
Yeah.
That's the abnormal now.
It is the abnormal. The abnormal is also when you go to the checkout and the cashier is just like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, good, how are you? And they're like,
throws them off.
I'm good, thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
They're on autopilot. Yeah.
Okay.
When I go to like clothing stores, I used to work retail.
Yeah.
So this kind of triggers for me. But when I go and so I want a healthy balance when I go in. I don't want to be hounded.
Healthy balance.
I don't want to be
Don't hound me.
me. I don't want to be like, hey, don't be up my ass.
Yeah.
I've been here before. Thank you. You have any sales? You can tell me about them. And then be on your way.
I will call you when I need you.
Exactly. But then there's the opposite where they don't acknowledge you at all. So then that's when I make a point to be like,
so grumpy at that.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I get.
No one else is in the store.
I know. Yeah, I have a problem with retail shops too. Or it's like going to Aritzia. I am okay. Most of the time, I am happily, casually dressed as a homeless gardener. Doesn't mean that when I do put proper clothes on, that they're not going to be nice clothes.
Right.
So I go into Aritzia, and it's like, hello. Okay, but if you walk in dressed Aritzia, they're like, oh, hello. How can we help you? Just let us know what other sizes you need. Have you seen this one? You're like, where the fuck were you 2 hours ago when I dressed as a homeless person coming in here?
So true. Like Pretty Woman, 100%. This is it. I ordered a dress from there. I went there dress shopping. And I saw it on the website and I was like, I really want this one green dress. So I went in there and I wanted to try it on. I can't remember. I think Tony and I had gone on a bike trail.
Okay.
So I was no makeup on, French braid, tank top, whatever. So again, no one helping me. And Tony came in. He's like, I'm going to get out because I feel very uncomfortable being in here. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then I'm looking around. I see the dresses, and two girls passed me, and they like looked at me and they're like, And then I went up to a girl and I'm like, can I get a dressing room started? And they're like, oh, sure. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to see what else you have. So I was looking for other options, and green is what I wanted. So anyway, I didn't get the service at all. So I needed a size 6, and I think I liked it based on it being A, too small, and B, too big.
Big, yeah.
So then I was like, you don't have my size. Can you order it from a different store and come and get it? And they're just like, yeah, like, blah, blah, blah. And very dismissive. It comes in, they call me, I go in. Now I'm coming from work. So I've got
total different ball game.
Dress pants, heels, long trench coat, hair done, whatever. Nice bag. And they're just like, the second I walked in the door, oh, hello, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Is there anything you're looking for? And I'm like, I'm just picking up a dress that I ordered.
Yeah.
Literally the same girl.
You basically reluctantly ordered me. But
yeah.
thanks.
Same girl at the thing, and she's just like, oh, how can I help you? And I was like, I'm here to pick up my dress. And then she was like, oh, okay, what is it? And I'm like, it's the green blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, oh, okay. And then she's just like, oh, I didn't even recognize you. And I'm like, cool, fuck you too.
Fuck you too.
Like,
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Is that part of the interview? It's like you interview them and you're like, perfect. You're the perfect amount of asshole for this store.
Yeah. I know.
I don't get it. I hate that I love your clothing so much.
I know.
I hate that it's like the perfect amount of casual and polished.
Yeah.
Like, why do I love your tracksuits so much? I would have your
know.
tracksuits in every single color.
I know. H&M is comparable.
Yeah.
But you have to go to the men's side.
Oh, it's always the men's side.
I know.
My mom always gets confused because I will literally order, like, all of my jackets are men's jackets. They're men's XXL jackets. Yeah. All of my flannels, men's XXL.
Yeah.
I will never shop the women's side for a flannel because I have no interest in it being
it's so
cut in.
Yeah, I know.
Give me a nice straight square flannel that I can put over a t-shirt and it actually be oversized and look like a cute little jacket.
I know.
I'm into that. So I will always shop the men's side.
Same with like plaid worker coats.
100%, always men.
We call them kicker coats at home, but
yeah, they are kicker coats.
They're total kicker coats.
I get it.
Yeah.
And you can't have enough of them either somehow.
You need a men's. I need a men's.
I need a men's.
I have a women's one, and it's from my brother's. He's a Harley tech, so their shop.
Yeah.
And it's really nice, but it's a lady's jacket.
It's just different.
I don't want a lady's jacket.
No. I have a Levi's like shearling lined men's XXL jacket.
Oh yeah.
Because I would refuse to buy a women's.
Yeah.
Even if I bought a XXL in women's, it would not be the same.
No. So do you see yourself getting back into a relationship?
I do.
Yeah.
But I am so content within myself. I am so at peace with myself.
That it will happen organically and you'll be okay with it.
If I meet somebody and it's natural and organic and you put me in my submissive state and I can live in my soft girl era, I'm then okay.
Yeah,
I'm in it. But other than that, I'm so at peace by myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually, I think it will get to a point of it when the time's right. I'm always in this place, and now also it's kind of alternative, right? Like I'm a psychic medium. That's a really weird thing to wrap your head around as a man. Like,
yeah.
In my mind, Divine's got to send it to me. Mm-hmm. So no, I'm not really in a rush to figure it out, but
that's okay. But you're open
to the universe always.
Yeah,
that's what I've learned this year the most is surrendering to source.
Oh my God,
we can control. We can try to control anything we want. It's not going to go the way that we pictured it at all, ever.
No.
So it's like, then you're micromanaging each situation. You micromanage each situation. Then you get disappointed that it didn't work out that way. And then you're building a new story on how it's going to go. And then in the end, again, it doesn't work out that way. And then you're in this perpetual cycle of just being disappointed.
Yeah.
And it's like the universe going, are you just going to fucking give up yet? Can you just let me do my job?
Seriously. Because you actually told me this, that the universe will continuously put it in front of you and give you all of the opportunities to pick it up on your own until they're like, you're not getting it, and hit you in the face with it.
Naturally. Always.
Yeah.
Every single time.
So I don't know if you remember, but like when we did my reading,
okay,
you were saying that like something huge, pivotal was going to happen.
Okay.
And it's going to knock you off your axis.
Okay.
But that I was
I'm sorry, when I'm in a read, oftentimes after, I don't remember it at all.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
I love rehearing this, though.
So, and I was like, okay. And I was trying to think of like what that could be. And nothing was really coming to me. But I was thinking maybe like other things.
Okay.
But you said you'll be okay because I was continuously oh no, what was it? Not grounded. Protected.
Yes. Okay.
I had tons of protection.
Yeah.
So I would have like a charm, and then under that was protection.
Protection everywhere.
I
do remember that. You had protection everywhere around you.
Everywhere. So I was like, okay, all right. Shortly after the that reading, I got hit by a ton of bricks at work. And I felt like everything was changing. Everything was not what I thought it was. And I realized that, so now I can say that it was a blessing. But at the time, I felt insulted at work. So, and which really hurt me because I feel like my boss and I have a really good relationship. Which we do. And I respect her and all of the bosses very, very much, but like her particularly. So I was just like, man, that really fucking sucks. So ultimately what happened is somebody joined our team.
Okay.
And which meant there had to be a shift. She needed an office upstairs.
Okay.
So somebody else got moved down to an office downstairs, and the place that they could go to was my office. So then I got moved from my office into the front business office.
Okay. Total shift.
Total
energy shift too.
100%.
Yeah.
And it was all happening over my 2-week vacation.
So you weren't even there?
No.
So you just walked in on that?
I got told a couple days before that there was going to be a change. And then while I was on holiday, all of my stuff got moved. And
so somebody else touched all your stuff.
Yeah.
Too.
But since I knew it was coming, and I knew that I didn't know where I was going to end up, I took all my personal things home. And that was a hard day because I felt like I was losing a piece of myself. Like, so my position that I do at work, I'm kind of between HR, administration, the management, all that. I'm like, so I do all of the onboarding and all of the employee support. And we have like over 300 employees.
Wow.
And I've onboarded like 200.
Okay. Holy crow.
So I was like, where am I going to meet with people now?
Yeah.
I have meetings all of the time. I have to help people. I like counsel people. So I was just like, I just felt really out of sorts. And it was like, you're wanting me to be in the business office because why? Like, I'm not a secretary. And I just felt really like kicked in the teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyway, fast forward, I was really pissed. And I actually normally, and I don't know if it's true, but like to me, it felt like, let's move Shannon because Shannon's agreeable. Shannon's positive. So then after.
Felt ill intent.
It did. It really did. And so I was like, well, whatever. Immediately started looking for other jobs.
Well, because that's also like a respect thing.
It is.
You're like, okay, so now you disrespect me, and now I don't feel like I have a say in this situation at all. So what is my place here in any way?
Exactly. So, and in the past, so my job title is employee support clerk.
Okay.
So it was a created job, and my boss had me in mind.
Okay.
When they created it. So I felt really honored to get it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
So employee support clerk. So the employees come to me and I support them, right? That's how I understand it. And my boss and I have been using the same words. But I realized we don't have the same meaning.
So same words, different language.
Yeah. So you and I aren't using the same language. So an example of that would be, the employees come to me and I support them and I give them the direction that they need to be in. Also, when scheduling is struggling, I fill the gap. When the business office is missing a person, I fill the gap.
So you're wearing so many different hats.
Yeah. When so on and so forth. So I was like, oh, I'm the employee supporting.
Right.
I get it now.
Okay.
I get it.
Yeah.
Because my job description says like, and other duties as per required.
Which is so vague.
So the reason why I say it's a blessing is because I got put up into the front office. I am interacting with residents again. So I work in a long-term care home.
Okay.
So I'm getting to interact, and I came from the nursing department before, where I was on the floor.
Okay. So you already knew a lot of the residents.
Yeah.
You had interaction with the residents all the time.
Yes. So there's all new residents, a lot of new residents, because I've been in the role that I've been in for a few years.
Okay.
So a lot of they've passed away, not there anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm starting to build relationships with residents again, and I'm getting that
love that
back.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more staff in different situations other than the Mayday Help Me.
Okay.
So it's positive. I'm getting more positive
not as heavy.
Interact. Yes.
Yeah.
I am actually not alone all the time.
Yeah.
Because I was so alone in my office. And I was right across the hall from our administrator and our assistant administrator, who are my bosses. No one came down there because no one wanted
to. Why would anybody want to go down?
Right.
Yeah. Fair.
My best friend works there, and she's like, I can't shoot the shit with you if they're there.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you can. They're human too.
Yeah. No, but you can't because
you can't.
Yeah.
So that I'm getting like human interaction.
Yeah.
And Colleen, who I work with, is such a fucking badass. I love her. And she speaks her mind, and she's been, like she'll be retiring, I don't know when, but let's say in the next 5 to 7 years. So she knows her shit. And she's lived a life. And she just like is awesome. Her and her husband go to concerts all of the time. That's like their favorite pastime.
I love that.
So she's like, yeah, we're hitting the road Friday, dropping the dogs off at the, at their playground, and we're gonna go see these 4 artists. We're here, and then we're heading down to Toronto, and we're doing this. She's just so cool. I want to be Colleen when I grow up. And so I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm learning so much from her. And so with all of that has come an opportunity for another position within the county, and it was a contract position.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I was like,
Well, now you're in this good place. You're seeing all these benefits of this, like, air quote, fallout initially, but now is in a better place where
it's a better place.
Recognize, wait a sec, this is more in alignment with me.
Yes. And so when I had my meeting with my boss about like, basically like my attitude when I came back, first of all, I know it hurt her feelings. I wasn't my intent to hurt her feelings.
But also at the same point, they hurt your feelings.
Exactly.
Right?
So we had like a really good conversation, and she's like, I didn't know, or I didn't think it would be as bad as it was for you, and she apologized and everything, and so she's like, I feel like you're mourning an office space. And I'm like, I'm mourning the fact that I visualized my future being a certain way and now it won't be.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my future going in one direction and now I don't know what that looks like. So that's what I'm upset about. And so she was like, okay, that's understandable. But she was like, because I'm like, so I explained my theory upon we're using the same words but different language. And so she was like, but I see it as like a feather in your cap. And at the time I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you have a wide skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Like you literally can do everything
All
we
the
ask
things
you to do, and they're grateful for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they show much appreciation and everything with that. So it's not like I'm being taken for granted or anything like that. I am very appreciated and I do feel appreciated. But at the time, I was hurt.
Yeah.
Because change is hard.
Change is hard. And that's spirituality too, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Like in the means of, like you said, you pictured your life going one way. But that's the hard part, is that you pictured it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how the universe works. It's like, okay, you can picture it all you want, but it doesn't mean that's unfolding that way. And it's not going to unfold that way for certain reasons because we see higher of you.
Yeah.
And that's actually littling yourself.
Yeah.
Like, even though you thought that role was going to be your high role, I'm stepping into my power in that role, it's going to be great. They're like, no, but you're worth more than that.
Right.
You can't see that because you think that that's worthy of a lot, but you're actually worth more. And you have a different path that we need you to fulfill.
Totally.
But at the time, you're like, what the fuck is all this?
Yeah.
What the hell is all this? And it does take that time after to reflect back and be like, whoa.
Yeah. And I'm not bigger than not saying that out loud to them. I have told my boss, I said, you know what? I have to thank you now for that shift in my life.
That's the biggest thing, because you don't, not many people do that.
No.
Not many people go back and go, whoa, wait a sec. Reflection over reflection time, gratitude.
Yes. Because I feel that.
Yeah.
And she deserves to know that, because it's got to be weighing on her to feel like, is Shannon happy here? Like, I don't want her feeling like the bottom's going to fall one day. And I told her before, I said, I am actively seeking other employment. I would love to stay in this area of work, but I'm open to something else. And so it was the moment that I kept saying to myself, I'm open to something else, that this other opportunity came up. I applied for it because Colleen was like, go for it, do it. And I was like, I don't know.
I love that.
And she's just like, what do you have to lose? You don't get it. You still have a really great job doing what you do.
100%.
You get it. That's growth and an opportunity. And it was an 8-month contract.
Fuck yeah, Colleen. I like Colleen already.
I know. I love Colleen.
Yeah.
So I applied for it. It was still within our department. Not our department. So I work for the county.
Okay.
So it was within the county.
Yeah.
And it just would mean that I would go to a different location for 18 months, learn a new skill set, develop some other things. So the department manager of HR called me and said basically that I didn't get it, but she's like, I had to call you personally to let you know that keep going. Go and get these courses. Because I didn't have the courses, but I do a lot of their job. But I don't have, she's like, your skill set and your qualifications are there. We need the paper. You need that piece of paper that says.
Isn't that so annoying?
You did it.
You're like, what's the point of that though? If you know that I can do all of it, then
I know, but it's like, for the 18-month contract, I totally get it. The candidate pool, they already have people who've done the courses.
Yeah.
I haven't. So she's like, do it. And I would love to see your application again. And so I got off the phone. I was like, oh, that was really nice. And then Colleen was like, oh, what'd she say? And I told her, and she's just like, well, you freaking got someone in your back corner telling you to do it. So then Colleen's sending me colleges
Hell yeah, Colleen.
with the courses and outline. And she's just like,
Yeah.
and then, you know, because she wears glasses, she's like, you know, the county pays for these.
Yeah.
And
Oh
I was
my
like,
gosh.
Colleen,
I'm into you, woman.
I know.
Yeah,
And I'm
into
like,
you,
I
woman.
just love that you just cheer for, and she's like, she always
But she's
says
right
that too.
though, right? It's growth.
It's growth.
So now, even though that you didn't get it, now you know what you need to do in order to.
Yeah.
And there's nothing stopping you besides that piece of paper that
Yeah.
they just need.
Totally. And that could lead me going into working in Guelph, and hopefully it could lead me back to being where I am now.
Yeah.
In the future.
And you know what I love about that is you got that opportunity as soon as you said, "Universe, I'm open."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what the universe needs all the time.
Yeah.
It is that moment of surrender.
Yeah.
So then they can actually allow you to fulfill the power that you're meant to fulfill, right?
Totally.
But how many of us just hold on so tightly to what we picture?
I can't do that because I have to do this. And I can't
and I have
do
to do this because I need to fulfill this.
Right.
And I need to fulfill this because later on, this is what I want to do with my future.
Exactly. But it's like, no. And I get it. So it was like, so after all of that, and as this is all kind of happening, it always took me back to our reading.
Oh,
and I was like,
love that.
I wonder if this is what that had to do with. And it was like this giant shift in my life. And it's going to feel like everything is crashing down around you, but it's all going to work out in the end. And I'm like, you know what? And I don't think the end is here yet. I think the end is like still, I still got to get there. But
the crash has already happened.
The crash has already happened.
And the rebuild is already here.
Yeah. And like, you know, I wasn't resistant to talk to Tony about it, but I was just like, you know, like, I think it's that whole, like, this is about me and I'll come later. Maybe we don't have time for me to take on like 10 university courses right now in the next year. You know, like, we got lots going on. We're going to be building the basement. You know, we want to like renovate that. And, you know, like Ethan's trying to find his direction on where he wants to go. And like Cameron still has 2 years of high school left. Like maybe
But what does that have to do with you?
Exactly. Well, because I'll come next.
I love this. Okay.
I'll come next. So then Tony's on afternoons right now. And so we have like 25 minutes where I'm done work and he's going to work that we FaceTime each other for 2 weeks. Otherwise, we see each other at like 5:40 to 6:15 in the morning. He goes to sleep. And then I see him again in the evening on FaceTime. So I was just like, oh, yeah, by the way, I got a call. It was about that job I applied for. I didn't get it, but this is what she said. He's like, cool. So what do you have to do? What do we have to do?
I was going to say, so maybe this was the psychic side of me, but I'm like, all Tony would do would empower you to do that.
I know.
I don't know. Like that when you come next wouldn't even be a thought in his mind. It'd be like, perfect. So now what?
I know. And that's literally what he said. He was like, okay, so now what? So he's walking into the plant. He works at Toyota. So he's got like a kilometer in from outside. And so he's hearing all the things I have to do and like all these different schools and I can apply and do it. He's like, okay, great. So you're going to need an office space. We'll figure all that out. That's no problem. He's like, so what else? And I'm like, well, that's it. And he's like, okay, I've just passed about 3 signs that say no cell phones. I got to go. But then I hang up and I'm like, feels so good.
The confirmation.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you didn't need confirmation.
I didn't.
But at the same point, it felt good to get the confirmation.
Yeah.
Knowing that you don't need to come next.
No.
Because none of that other stuff has anything to do with you.
I know.
Both your children will find their way.
Totally.
That will just be inevitable anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And the basement's still going to be a thing.
Yep. I don't know. Yeah.
You're
totally
just creating scenarios in order for it not to because you don't feel like it's your time to because of XYZ.
Totally.
But it's the time. The universe is like, no, I can't give you any more signs.
I know.
I can't give you any more signs. Just do it. Just do it.
I know.
Oh my gosh. You know, I find that reads, I never know what comes up in a read. I never know. I sit with so many different people. So many different things come up. And I never often remember a read after the read. So for me, it's like, to hear this feedback is amazing because I didn't remember any of that.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I don't know. I did like 4 reads
Oh
back
yeah.
to back at that
It was
time.
heavy.
Right.
It was heavy.
And so I didn't even, I don't even remember anybody's read. So hearing this feedback is awesome for me because it's one of those things of, I can't believe I said that, first of all. No, I don't know. And also the fact that it was a checkpoint for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like a consistent checkpoint. Oh, okay, wait, that was being said. Because oftentimes people don't understand the power of a read.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to understand the power of a read. Unless you sit in a read, you truly don't understand what it brings to you.
No.
Right? And then it is later on down the road that you're like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things did happen.
I know.
Or all of those things did align. And I'm in that moment right now. But you'd never think that that would be the case.
No, because even during it, it's like you're trying to like figure out what it could be related to. And then until it does happen months later. And then you're like, oh, I get it now.
She was right. I'm glad that you were open to it because
Yeah.
I always say to people that are so closed off, I'm like, well, if you don't believe in it, that's totally fine. But what's the downside of getting a read then?
Totally.
Like if you don't believe in it, you don't have to believe anything I say then.
Yeah.
So that's totally fine. So you have nothing to lose. So does your husband believe in that at all?
I mean, he would blanket it as no,
Mm-hmm.
but he's seen what's happened to me.
Now, did you tell him about your read?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God,
cool.
yeah. I immediately needed to be like by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up to the Airbnb in my room.
Right.
And I called Tony and he wasn't answering. So then I called my best friend and she was at work.
And
And
like, I just need to vent about this.
I was bawling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And but like happy.
Yeah.
But it's just like I couldn't control the emotion coming out of me. So I called her, FaceTimed her, and she's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And then she blamed somebody at the party for pissing me off and upsetting me.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's what you would naturally think. Like, you're at a party filled with women.
She's like, "What'd she do? I'll fucking kick her ass."
Yeah,
And I was like, no, it's fine.
Please don't. It was amazing.
I'm like, it's so good. I'm so happy. And she's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Who fucking did it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, it's so good." And she's like, "Oh, good. What was it?" And I was like, like, oh my God, my parents came through and she knew about Sean. I didn't even tell her. And she was like, "Oh my God." And then she starts crying. And then somebody came in the report room and they're just like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "She just got a really good reading." And then, so then Tony's then calling through. So I was like, "I gotta let you go. Tony's calling." And she's like, "Okay." And she's like, we hung up and then the text message comes. I answer Tony and then I'm like crying and he's just like, "Oh my God." And then he's still like, "What'd she fucking do to you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, nothing. It's good." And he's like, "Oh, good." So then Brandy messaged through and then she's just like, "Oh my God, you have to call me back because I'm so emotional right now."
Yeah, I need closure on this. I need closure.
I have to know what's going on. So, but then I called Tony and he's just like, "That's so good. I love that for you," and all this kind of stuff. And I'm glad that you got that because the biggest thing that came through for me that made me so emotional is you told me that my parents didn't blame me for letting out their secret and that it was a blessing and that they were very happy and they knew that I would be the one to do it. And so, even though it was a surprise to me, they knew that I would be the one to uncover it. So that was
which would be such a center of comfort.
Yeah, because I felt really guilty. I was just like, oh my God, they still have friends who won't talk to me about Sean after I've already found my brother.
Yeah.
Because it's this secret.
It's almost guilty that they knew.
Yeah.
So they still are holding
swore
it
to secrecy. And I'm like,
but I know now.
Whose secret are you holding anymore?
Yeah.
Like you can let that shit go.
Yeah.
Like, relax, Carl.
Always fucking Carl.
Always fucking Carl.
Always fucking Carl.
But like, so anyway, he's like open to it for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he would be open to it for himself.
Yeah, that's fair. It opens
the fear of the unknown.
It's the fear. And you know what? I always start my reads like that. I don't know what's going to come through.
Yeah.
And please don't feel judged in this way. Please do. I honestly, after the read, won't remember your read. Although there was one thing I remembered about your read, and I thought it was so confusing because they've never got me to do this before.
Yeah.
And I sat there for a good, I don't know if you remember, it was at the very beginning, and I sat there for a good couple minutes, and you're probably looking at me like, okay, is this going to fucking start? Or like, what's going on? It's because I was battling them. I'm like, why do you want me to hold her hands?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Why do you want me to hold her? I feel really awkward asking that. Why do you want? And they're like, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please just do it. And I remember feeling so awkward asking you, like, can I just hold your hands?
So I thought that was part of it. I was like, yeah, sure.
Here we go. This is what we do. And I was just like,
I'll do anything you want.
Never has that happened.
No.
Since you. Never has that happened before you or since after you.
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments like, okay, I guess I gotta ask her to hold her hands. It's gonna be fucking so weird.
Well, here's the thing. So when my dad would always be like this to me, always.
And hold your hand.
Just hold my hand. Just take my hand. I do it to my kids.
Okay.
I will be sitting on the couch.
So this makes so much sense now because he was so adamant on it. Just hold her hands.
Yeah. Or
hold her hands.
Driving, put a hand over. Just hold a little hand. Doesn't have to be forever.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the whole time.
Just enough to connect.
Just enough to hold your hand. It's kind of like a hug.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Or you stick it in the back seat if they're sitting in the back seat.
Yes. Okay.
And
this
my
makes
mom,
so much sense now.
Yeah. My mom would do the same thing. So if my mom and I were like apologizing because we were a lot like this, we'd always,
hold hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had a hard time saying I'm sorry.
That was her way.
Yeah. So she would just, she would do that. She'd be like, I love you. Hold hands.
It's the hold hand was the sorry.
Wouldn't say sorry, but or
you always find their language of sorry.
Totally.
I get that. So now that makes sense for me because I was so confused. But that was such a profound moment for me in the reads. There was so much emotion behind the hand holding.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it. But I love that backstory because it makes sense. Because it almost did feel
it made total sense to me.
Everything that you just explained is how it felt. And it makes all the sense now.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to the Spilt Honey podcast. Stay tuned for next week's episode.